Just a quick look at the latest Tesla V10 code. Specifically, this is 2019.32.11.1. And this came out today, which is October 3rd. And there's a few things in the app that a lot of the videos are talking about, you know, smart summon and parking lots. Yeah, that concerns me for the stuff that can go wrong when people do that. But I do want to show you something I noticed. You got media controls.
Evidence. Go to wasabi.com and make sure you...
So it's playing a podcast here. There you go. And you've got volume. So some additions that just, you know, showed up.
Offer code window.
All right, let's go back here. What else is in there? Controls. Open up all the windows a little bit. They open up like 1 inch or so. Close them back down. Lock the car. Lots of little tweaks there. Those you may not have noticed in many of the other videos that are, you know, highlighting the new features in V10. Let's move along to, well, summon. That's been shown many times by many people, including, you know, parking lot and come to me and all that stuff. All right, let's get on the road and do a little V10 testing with Autopilot. And I'm about to head to Boston, so this is an actual road trip. And I'm going to get in the highway. And soon I'll be able to show some more of the functionality. So hopefully we're autofocused back on the road here. You can see the screen, you can see the visualizations. Pay attention over here as I set off on this trip. And you'll see definitely some enhancements to how traffic around me looks when we get it underway here. Automatic wipers should go on. There's my car, there's our brake lights, there's the curb to our right. An obstacle shows is like an arc line there. We got double yellow line showing there. It's not actually in yellow, but it's a double line. Now, I'm not a person who's going to show you videos with my hands off the wheel or doing crazy stuff in public parking lots, which Summon is not supposed to be used for. It's a beta, and it clearly warns you about all that. I am a person who cares about safety first, so always what is happening on the road is going to take precedence over what I'm saying to you in the camera. So this video may be a little bit unpolished, but we're only half a mile away from getting on the highway here. And hopefully you have a good view of the rear view mirror and the left side view mirror. So you have pretty good awareness of what's going on around the car without necessarily needing to resort to the camera view, which, well, just blocks the GPS area. But I kind of like to show the GPS area. Another thing I'm going to show in V10 here is that if you cancel the route, you get this kind of flyover mode where you're zoomed quite nicely, zoomed quite far in, and you have this nice visual of the earth as you basically fly over it. So, just kind of a nice touch. So for demonstrating lane changes and all that, well, I do need a destination set. So I'm going to go back and go to that trip to Boston route. Okay, and we're about to enter an on-ramp to a highway. So I'll be able to turn on Autopilot. We've got the steering wheel showing in light gray, right there. And it just went back on, and now I can engage. Alright, so the car is set to go 50 miles an hour. So it's not going to try to overtake the car ahead of me. But if we crank up the speed a little bit, I'm on mild for when it decides to change lanes. The car ahead of me is also speeding up. But there's a few things to note here. One, if my lane suddenly becomes wide from an on-ramp, finally in the V10 versions of software that came out in very late September, it no longer veers to the right in this artificial way that a human wouldn't do. You just stay a certain distance from the divider line there, and you continue. Now, we just lost some speed due to an overpass, but it only lasts 2 or 3 miles an hour. Sometimes you get sudden braking in the past. That was not particularly alarming, just a slight speed loss there as it was trying to figure out the bridge. So still not awesome at overpasses. It's a pretty gray day, pretty cloudy. We don't have the harsh shadows. All right, so I'm just gonna go the speed limit here. All right, so traffic's gonna be coming in from the right up ahead. If there are any cars, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Personally, I'd go to the left, but there's very fast cars on the left, right? See how fast they're cruising? So, I'll just let the car do its thing, stay in the right-hand lane, and there's probably not really a lot of merging traffic coming in from the right anyway. What we want to pay attention to in this segment is the auto wipers are working pretty well, by the way. The automatic setting, they've greatly improved that since I took delivery of the car in December of 2018. So what we want to pay attention to with the widened lane that we're going to be in here shortly is, does my car stay and hug the dashed white line at the same distance it is now, even though the right side is going to suddenly become much wider. It was just one of those goofy things. Another thing is dancing cars. When you're at a stoplight, all the cars around you used to, you know, jiggle. They looked ridiculous. It didn't exactly instill confidence in the autopilot system, and the cars are bouncing all over the place. They finally fixed that. So, yeah, after, was it 9 months of ownership, having that suddenly go away, it's a nice thing, especially for passengers who are asking lots of questions and tend to notice those things. Okay, we got construction. I'm taking over in that I'm manually turning on the blinker stalk. It changed lanes when it was safe to do so, and you saw the new visualizations there. My lane turns blue, it's got a little outline of my car and where it's going, and all that worked great. Okay, we're in a construction zone. Now we got some Jersey barriers on the left. My hands are on the wheel. Even though the car is motorized, turning the steering wheel, I'm in control. If I don't like that it's getting too close, I don't hesitate at any point to just overcome the very minor force it takes to overcome the self-driving, the lane keeping, I should say, where the steering wheel is doing its motorized thing to keep me in my lane right now, right? Especially with traffic cones and Jersey barriers. Okay, keep my hands on the wheel, but it's sliding underneath my hands. I'm not doing actually the turning, right? You can see that because the straight blue line there indicates we are in Navigate on Autopilot, including it doing suggested lane changes needed. Okay, let's go back up to the speed limit. You saw me spin the right wheel up. When you do it fast like that, it goes up in 5-mile-an-hour increments. And now it's wisely getting me out of the passing lane. I really like that. It makes sure my hands are on the wheel, and now the car is speeding up super fast on my right side, and it backed out. I saw that unfolding. I saw the car in my side view mirror. And there's now another truck where it's finally getting out of the way and going north on 91. I'm going on Route 15, so all that worked out great. Again, you never saw my hands leave the wheel. I'm responsible for my safety. Autopilot is merely a assistive device for maybe, you know, longer trips for some of the drudgery. Okay, coming up we have a super wide highway. It's going to be like 6 lanes in about half a mile. Kind of an awesome chance to show you the increased visualizations. Also, we have the road widening here for a longer duration than before, where maybe we get to witness whether my car starts veering to the right for no reason. It's got dashed white lines, so it's going to keep in my lane. So if those dashed white lines weren't there, the car would have a tendency to veer way to the right. And in this case, you'd end up dropping an exit. That wouldn't be good. Alright, so that wasn't the best demo of the fat lane phenomena of veering. Alright, coming up, maybe a quarter mile or so, I think, is when we get on the super wide highway, and the speed limit will go up. Safety things that are often not mentioned. If I'm on a road that's not a highway, you're really not supposed to be using autopilot. But if you're doing it anyway, say there's no cars around, it's a full 55 zone and suddenly becomes 40, the car will slow down to 45. It won't let you go, even if you have it cranked up to 70 as your desired speed here. Desired speed right there. If you have that cranked up high, but you enter a lower speed zone, the car will slow down, which is pretty cool. Now on the highway and interchanges, it won't do that. So just point out those little subtle things that I just don't see people talking about in their videos where they're showing off, you know, the dangerous situations they put themselves in. You did see a bit of an autopilot fail where I was going kind of slow in the left lane and struggling to get into the right lane, and cars behind me ignoring my blinker, in fact speeding up when they saw my blinker. But autopilot still kept me out of trouble and still decided to not do the lane change, even though it had slightly started moving to the right. It said, nope, never mind, there's a car in the way, let's wait that out, right? So it did work out, and in the past there'd be kind of stress caused by that situation where you didn't really have good reason to trust it. It hadn't earned your trust. In fact, it was giving you trouble more often than it was worth, where I'd just turn off Navigate on Autopilot. So I'd tap that blue button and turn off the suggested and actual lane changes if your hands are on the wheel, where you confirmed that you're cool with it changing lanes for you, right? Gradually over time, I'm starting to leave the car navigating autopilot a little more often, which includes lane changes, but still most of the time for the wide open road, here we go, it's getting over to a middle lane, it's making sure my hands are on the wheel, it's making sure the lane is clear, I'm turning my head to look, we're good, and now it's going to call this a travel lane. It can spit it up to the speed limit there, or I could have actually just touched that, goes to the speed limit. And now we're cruising. So do you remember what there's the visualization I was telling you about, and look at the left lane, it just became solid as that HOV lane became apparent. Pretty cool, right? So that's a major improvement in visualizations. I don't know if you got to see oncoming traffic or crossing traffic, pedestrians and motorcycles. I don't think you did in this video, but that's been demonstrated by many folks. So I'm going to do a manual change to the right. You can do that even navigate on autopilot on. And at this point, I think I'll wrap this video with just mentioning that I often go in this mode. That's what I was saying. We have two blue lines. It's going to do lane keeping and traffic aware cruise control, so that 65 will become something lower if the car ahead of me is going kind of slow. And then I'll manually initiate a lane change by a gentle stalk, push down to go left or push up to go right. Gentle, not all the way. Where I've indicated, actually no, I got that wrong. Yeah, I think you do need to go all the way down to say, I don't want to just blink 3 times, I want to actually execute a lane change. That can be done even in this mode where navigating on autopilot is off. So let me demonstrate that. I see a slow trailer truck coming up ahead of me, and he's going up a hill, so they're gonna end up losing speed. So I'm gonna want to do this anyway. So gentle left stalk turn, only does 3 blinkers, and that was kind of useless. Now there's a car there. Let me just wait for him to pass 2 lanes over. Okay, now I do a firm stalk press after making sure my lane is available. Change lanes, and now I'm going to overtake the truck ahead of me without any concerns at all. So it's a very comfortable situation here to feel very much in control of the car, letting it take over the drudgery of lane keeping and staying between those blue lines there. Now let's see how it handles getting near a truck. Normally I would hug the left white line a little bit more aggressively when you're near a truck. The car looks like it did that. Now was that random chance? I don't know. We're about to pass another truck. Let's see if it does a good job staying in the dead center of my lane or to the left, but never to the right. And that's when I would intervene in the past. I would just pull the wheel and tug it gently to the left and take over. It's doing very nicely here. I'm impressed. The truck is jiggling a little bit, so it's a bit disconcerting, but I love that it stayed to the left the whole time, and now we seem to be actually still in the left. I thought we might get towards the center here. That was good. So yeah, anxiety for this trip, way down. The car is doing its thing. And because someone in front of me is now consistently going slower than the 65 desired speed that I've set, well, since I don't have Navigate on Autopilot on, I'm not going to be automatically lane changing around the slightly slower traffic ahead of me. And this is a situation where it's just not worth going there. I got speeding trucks to my right, and to my left another one coming. Not great. But in this situation, I'm cool with it. Not looking for speeding tickets, looking for maximum safety. And in this situation, I don't really like staying near a truck that long. If that happened much longer, I probably would have spun the wheel down and backed off on my speed a little bit. Again, I do absolutely everything I can to reduce my risk to myself when on these trips. All right, anything else I want to point out? Fast truck there. It misidentified that truck. So I'll just point out that was supposed to show as a pickup truck visualization, and it failed. I haven't actually noticed failures before until just now. If I tap here, it brings up the wide view, including my destination and what my charge is when I arrive and all that. And if I tap here, it's not north up. Okay, goes to that. So you go wide and then to the straight ahead up view. Okay, now I'm passing this truck again. Let's see how it does one last time. I'm spinning the wheel even faster, but since there's a car ahead of me, I can't really pass any faster than this. And it's identified the giant trailer truck as 2 trucks, so it's getting a little weird there. To my left, it's showing sport utility. That worked. And it never went to the right, so that was very comfortable. So, big improvements in V10. Again, not talked about by a whole lot of folks. Big improvements in autopilot experience that They don't look huge to you if you've never driven this car, if you're watching this video and you're not familiar or haven't been in a Model 3. But if you've driven it 9 months and 20,000 miles like I have, they feel pretty big. They reduce those minor moments of anxiety where you're taking over autopilot and breaking out of it by grabbing the wheel. Okay, Sport Utility passed us. Let's see how it does in vehicle identification. It'd be really kind of cool if right around now, a pickup truck happened to pass me to see if it gets the identification correct. I don't think we're going to see any motorcycles in the rain here, right? Okay, car is hugging my blind spot. Not awesome for someone to hang out there. Don't like the situation. I'm backing off of my speed, letting them pass me. Normal sedan. Okay, in my rearview mirror, there may be a pickup coming, so I'm going to keep the camera rolling a little longer. There's something I forgot to point out on the app. In the very beginning of this video, I showed you the app on my phone. I happen to be iOS on an iPhone 11 Pro Max. And on that screen, you may have noticed Home Link. That is a big deal. Why? Because suddenly I have the ability to open my garage door or close it when I'm not at home. Something like a Ring Video Doorbell can be used as belt and suspenders approach to safety, where I can see on camera, is my garage door open or closed? Home Link merely triggers a up or down, garage door button push. It doesn't say what direction the garage door is going, right? But it's really cool. A V10 software, 9 months into owning the car, suddenly Home Link has an extra added benefit or security vulnerability, depending on how you want to look at it, for me to open and close my home's garage door when I'm not home. Something I've never been able to do in the 20 plus years I lived in my home. So here's another thing just not getting talked about. Okay, while I'm gabbing away here and going kind of slow, just have not seen any pickup trucks. That's unfortunate. And because I'm not overtaking anybody, I'm fine in the middle lane, but I would actually probably go all the way to the right lane in this situation where most people are going faster than me. It's tricky though, because sometimes the truck will barrel along in the right lane and pass you at high speed in the right. So I think Navigate on Autopilot tends to keep you in the middle lane, and this will help confirm that. Other things to point out here, you probably saw my head in the rearview mirror there as I tipped my head to the right. My rearview mirror is adjusted so you can see out the rear of the car without me turning on the rear-facing camera, right? But something I'll point out to you is the rear-facing camera is doing recording right now. If I tap here, it keeps the last however many seconds or minutes of video, I don't remember, but if something happens where I save that footage and not have it automatically, deleted or pruned, that's a very important button to push. And we now have the rear backup camera. Swipe up here, that's the gesture to bring up the last thing I was viewing. We can see the rear backup camera. And do we have a pickup truck? Yes, we do. And do we have a failure to identify a pickup truck again? Yes, it failed again. It just changed shape there. Got it. And now we've got the 3D render where you can move it temporarily to the side view. Nice. So it struggled a little bit. I don't know if that's the dot release that I just got today, because the major V10 release came out to my car on last Friday, September or whatever that was, 28th, and now it's October 3rd? No, that must have been September 29th or 30th. But anyhow, this point release, yeah, maybe it regressed a little and started forgetting how to render pickup trucks accurately every time. Not exactly important stuff, right? This, to me, is more important. Giving me the confidence that it's seeing the entire highway, the breakdown lanes, the lane change, dash lines. It's just really awesome. And this is just kind of a bell and whistle, not super important. It doesn't show a car 2 lanes over because that's kind of extraneous data. But the fact that it pinches and zooms so smoothly, it's just pretty cool. And here comes a car immediately next to me. Let's see how that visualization looks. Okay, hands back on the wheel. Here comes that car. Pretty amazing, right? You can see it on the live camera view. You can see it on the side view mirror. You saw that all in glorious 4K GoPro Hero 5 video. That's it. I think that's all I wanted to show you for V10 enhancements. It's a pretty deep dive into stuff. A lot of people have shown you, Cuphead and the other entertaining things, but again, I wanted to focus on the autopilot improvements. That was a pickup truck that just drove by and it messed up again. Maybe we should end with that. And Spotify. Oh, Spotify. What's with the dots and the O's? Go figure. See the Spotify with 2 dots over the O? People are getting on Tesla for that. That's pretty minor, right? Here we have a car that has major updates available after you take delivery of the car, including adding karaoke and Spotify. But it is a big deal for me to finally be able to see my playlist and album art and all that right here on the beautiful screen, leaving my phone down there charging on the Qi charging wireless mat there. I'm actually using a battery to make sure it charges at the highest possible Qi battery rate. If you use a Nomad and you plug it into the USB ports in the car, they charge at a little lower charge rate. That's for another day in another video. Check out my accessories video for the Tesla Model 3 as well, if you're interested in more information about the various accessories I added to my Model 3 since taking delivery of this car. So, that's it. Interesting that my car is not changing lanes here. We're going only 59, I desire 65. Maybe I should just let the video, I keep extending it. Maybe we should let the car change one more time. It's doing it now, right on command. It's gonna speed up smoothly like a human would. Nobody's head is, you know, jarring into the headrest. It did an excellent job right now. It's keeping a nice smooth lane change, as it's been doing for many months, but also hugging the left a little bit as passing a truck. Totally awesome. And finally, making it so if a napping passenger was with me, they would notice a thing, that I had a robot essentially driving the car much of the time. That is the ultimate kind of litmus test, right? I've also turned on, using JOMO, this feature that arrived with V10. I turn that on to make the chimes a little less loud when something is happening. When the car is trying to get your attention about a lane change or whatever, those chimes, you wouldn't really notice this on the camera, but as a person sitting in the car, the volume seems like about 2/3 what it used to be, which is, you know, less likely to annoy and maybe wake up passengers. All right, and that was a van that went by and I identified that properly. That's a wrap. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and thank you for visiting tinkertry.com.